We're joined now by another USC star and former NFL star, Jason Sehorn. Jason, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
Good. How's the knee?
Healthy. It's amazing what happens when you stop playing, how everything just seems to settle into healthy.
You still feeling some of the residual effects from your playing career? Or?
Not really. I mean, we had great doctors. I kind of looked at myself as the Humpty Dumpty that all the King's men, all the horses and all the King's men could put back together again, so I feel pretty fortunate.
That's good. Well, what have you been up to? I mean, you were doing some analyst stuff for a while, but you've been quiet for a bit. What's going on?
I got back into college football with CBS College Sports, doing color. As a matter of fact, Saturday is Army versus Air Force. I'll be doing the color for that game, so it's been pretty fun to get back in the booth and talk about football games, regurgitate the material you'll see on the field, and more importantly, the goal for me has always been to explain why something happened, not what happened.
Well, long term, is that something you see yourself doing, staying in TV, or do you have any aspirations beyond, I guess, the sport itself?
No, I like college football. I would like to be in a studio. I think talking about a wide range of football is easier than just focusing or concentrating on one game for 3 straight hours. So a studio job would be the goal.
Well, let's tap into your college football knowledge a little bit and talk about your alma mater. We spoke with Keyshawn a little earlier, and we'll talk a little bit about him more later. But USC, what's your take on the current state of the program there, particularly with Lane Kiffin and the regulations that have been handed down?
It's headed in the right direction. I mean, obviously the regulations that were handed down were a little bit stiff in my mind. When you look back just 5 years ago to what Alabama had, they had an actual booster, somebody who gave money to the University of Alabama, commit their crimes, had a 1-year bowl ban. USC has somebody, a rogue guy run around who is not affiliated with SC, doesn't give to SC, is an alumni of SC, nothing, and they got a 2-year ban. On top of that, it was given to his parents in San Diego, and I don't know how USC is supposed to be responsible for all the kids' parents. With that being said, it is what it is, deal with them and move on. I think Lane Kiffin's got the program moving in the right direction. I think that the Lane Kiffin that we see at SC is a completely different one than the one we saw at Tennessee, and the reason being is something he himself said, that when he got to Tennessee, he really realized he was 5th in the pecking order in the SEC. He said Florida was first, and then Alabama, and Georgia, and LSU, and South Carolina. You had to overcome that, and you had to put Tennessee back on the map, and that's all he was trying to do. At SC, we haven't heard much from him, and his offenses have been, lights out. They're doing a good job, and it's going to take some time to, rebuild the program from the loss of scholarships. And on top of that, you have to think, when kids play college football, they play for the bowl game. Right now, there's no light at the end of the tunnel for SC for a couple of years, so it's going to be a little bit tough motivation-wise.
Now, they've had some decent recruiting recently. I mean, is that surprising to you, given the fact that they don't have that bowl to aspire to? And do they lose sort of a chip to appeal to blue chippers?
I don't know. I mean, I would think that if you want to go to SC, you want to go to SC. It's one of those schools that, as a kid, you just grow up loving SC. You either love them or hate them. It's not a middle road with that place. And so some kids might be able to overlook that because they realize it's only a year. If the kids coming in this season, it's just a 1 year for them. And, the kids that came in last season, I don't think they understood. It was unfair that the penalties came down after signing period. And SC let a couple kids out who wanted to go. But for the most part, it is what it is. You deal with it and you move on.
Talking a little bit more about the recruiting and the infractions and stuff. The SI cover story, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, about it almost laid it out like there's rampant, impropriety going on with these agents in big time schools. I mean, is this something you saw firsthand, and have you seen any shift since your days in school?
It's probably worse, and we saw it firsthand when we were in college, and I graduated in '94. This has been going on for years. The NCAA they turn a blind eye to it. They only want the ones that are obvious. They understand that every single campus with talented kids who are going to be 1st or 2nd round picks have not necessarily the agents, because they're too obvious. They have what they call runners. And some of the agent quasi-employees, and he goes to university, and he's the one making the first contact, and he's the one handing out the money or whatever it is that he's doing. It's not the agent, so you're not going to see them on campus, and you have to see them doing the improprieties. It's their runners that do it, and it's rampant. It's everywhere. The universities are aware of it. They can't stop it. There's nothing they can do to it because the people associated aren't physically agents, so you can't suspend them. They're not committing a crime yet because they're not an agent.
Right. I mean, is there any solution to it? Is it a real problem, I guess?
It's a huge problem. Okay. And the problem is the amount, for me, You know, and you get in a slippery slope. I'm not saying pay the players. What I'm saying is the stipend check they receive needs to be a little bit better. The cost of living. When I was at SC, we got a check for about $750 a month. So for that $750, I had to pay my rent, put gas in my car, put food on my table. If I want to see a movie, I mean that $750. And I lived in LA. My rent was $500. Okay,
and
so I'm left with $250.
Right, and certainly with a program like that, it's not like you had time to go get a part-time job.
No,
it was a job for you.
Well, here's the worst part: as a student athlete on scholarship, you can't even get a job during the season. You can only have a job in the summer.